Okay, so my name is Edward Keats, and thanks very much for coming in here for the webinar. So basically, guys, I've been online for about well, quite a long time, but things started to turn around for me in the last sort of 3 years, I suppose. And I think the big thing that happened for me was really just a simple decision, and because so many things just didn't work over the years when I just I came online about 10 years ago and just think everything just didn't work. And I suddenly started to realize that I better give it another try. And all the things that I was trying to do, I just didn't apply enough effort. I just didn't put enough backbone into it. So now, 3 years ago, I put a lot more effort into it and things started to turn around. But I think the thing for me is never about necessarily the tools or the things that I had access to or my my background knowledge. It wasn't really anything related to the skill set that I felt I needed. It was 100% my attitude, and that was really my big turning point 3 years ago. It was 100% my attitude. It was a reason why, and I've spoken, since then I've spoken to a lot of people, both successful people who have achieved a certain amount of success, and people who haven't had much success. And it's interesting talking to the different sort of people. I mean, some people are not yet successful yet simply because they haven't been online long enough, or they haven't, I mean, a success to each individual is different to us all. But for me, achieving a certain amount of success was just simply earning enough money to be able to replace what I was currently doing as my day job, which was English teaching in Japan, and having a bit more sort of freedom to be able to choose what I wanted to do, to be able to do more things with my kids, to spend more time with my family. That was really the dream for me. And then since then, I suppose my big thing was, it's perhaps kind of negative for some people, but for me, I mean, I went through a divorce, and it was a sad thing at the time, and it's still sad. But I think that how that whole panned out, the divorce and me separating with my ex-wife, how that all panned out was actually relatively positive in many ways. I'm very lucky to be able to be with my kids every single day now. Because I have the freedom to be with my kids more, but also because I'm just more positive on the whole. I'm supportive to my ex-wife. I understand her needs. I understand the difficulties she has as well, and I've learned it all. I've learned it all really just being positive, just feeling that working hard for something changes us. It builds our character. It builds a lot of. It gives us a sort of a direction, and that's what I needed. I needed that direction. I needed that kind of what we all need. We need a kind of a set of goals that we can reach towards, and if I can hit some of those goals, gradually we get better at hitting the next goals, and so on. It's all about milestones, I suppose. But so now I live in Japan. Well, I've lived in Japan a long time, and I love it here, to be honest. There are some ups and downs about it because it's not my culture. It's not my. I'm originally from the UK, I'm lucky to be here because I don't think I could teach English in Japan. I mean, in the UK, nobody really wants to learn English over there, so I'm probably out of a job over there. Although now things are getting better online, so it wouldn't really matter anyway. So yeah, on the whole, I just love what I do, and that's why I like to set up these systems. My first system that I ever set up was a system called the Money Cash Kit, which was 3 years ago, and it all came about when I joined a company. I'm not going to mention any names, but I joined a company back then, and I just got to work, and I put together a few set of strategies and marketing methods, and I put it all and I documented it on PDF files that were available for my team to download, really just to people who I personally sponsored. And they were all in the form of just simple PDF documents. This is what I was doing. I had screenshots and I had full, guides to help my team. And then gradually, as my team grew, I realized what I really needed was a way that they could actually use that information and pass it down to other, to their members as well. And that's really what they were starting to ask me. Is there anything I could, how can I use these tools? Because they had those documents, the PDF files that I was giving out to members in my team they all had my personal links in there. So they were basically useless to the people who sponsored underneath them and so on. So I thought about that, and I thought, okay. So then I put together a branding system that allowed me to brand my PDFs so that they could go to a form, stick in their information about those companies, and then those PDFs were rebranded, and so that they could pass that on. And it kind of hit me from that point, and I realized, okay, well, I think I'm onto something. I think this could be really huge, and that's when things really started to take off for me. It wasn't the fact that my personal success was going well. It was more to the point. It was the people that were coming in to my team, and the average people who were looking for success were also generating success because they were able to take away quality content and then reproduce it in an easy way. And back then, we didn't have funnels. We didn't have capture pages. It was really just passing out a simple PDF file, either on Facebook Messenger or by email or putting into your signature or whatever. But, it had the option to allow people who knew how to make funnels and capture pages to add those PDF files to those pages. But anyway, as time went on, a lot of members in my team said, I think what we really need, Edward, is a way to have a page where our team could download those PDF files. So then, I got to work, and I put together the branding system included a download page, and that download page also branded to the members of my team as well. And then, cut a long story short, what then was requested was a full-blown funnel. So that's now really where we are now. Is the Network Solutions Pro? That's where it all stemmed from, basically. Just to cut a long story short, it all stemmed from that, and gradually, bit by bit, we just went on from that. In between the Network Solutions Pro and that original Money Cash Kit system, I had a system called the Viral Team Builder, as many members might remember. But that system was really very much based on what we have now. But I suppose the difference between the Viral Team Builder and what we have now, which is Network Solutions Pro, is that the Viral Team Builder was the success or failure of the Viral Team Builder was all centered around the companies that were added to the system. And back then we had some issues because there were companies that suddenly just crashed and ran into problems and issues and various other things. So then then the Viral Team Builder had a little bit of a negative impact on that, because people just sort of looked at Viral Team Builder and thought, I'm not going to use that system because it's got this company in there, so it's got that company in there. Now, I understand recently we've added some steps where people can actually brand and join some companies that we have in Network Solutions Pro, and I understand that we've added those in there, but I don't want to make it 100% about the specific companies inside Network Solutions Pro. So what Network Solutions Pro is it's a very generic marketing system, and it will continue to be that, because I want to be able to allow members to brand the pages, the content, the marketing tools in there, so that the leads don't necessarily need to know what's in there. All they need to know is just simply that they can get some good value for free, and they can use that power and the tools and everything for whatever company that they're promoting. And that's absolutely true. They can absolutely do that. Now, obviously, when they get into the back office, they see some extra things, some other things, but I don't want to make it 100% about those specific companies that we have in there. Now, the good news for the people who are 100% focused on those two companies in there, and let me just say, number one, Dascoin, and also we've got Hashflare in there as well. For those people who are very much focused on those two companies and excited about that, I want them to understand that it is actually a very good idea to promote yourself as a marketer using generic tools. Don't just necessarily promote Dascoin on the front end, for example, or don't necessarily promote Hashflare on the front end, and don't even just promote your primary business, because don't forget, you can come into Network Solutions Pro, put in your primary business link in there, and yes, we do have some funnels, particularly for the paid members of Network Solutions Pro. We have some funnels that will actually promote your primary business right on the front end. So the first thing that the leads will actually see when they come into your funnel initially is your primary business. That is all good and fine, and if you're going to brand yourself in that way, that's great. However, I also highly recommend taking the strategy to sort of, share out your links and say, we've got some great tools in here. You can come in here. You can use a system that will with an autoresponder system, with all the marketing tools that 99.9% of the people out there already need and potentially already using, actually. So this is something that's going to benefit most people anyway, even if they're focused on a completely different company and they're not potentially going to check out your business. I mean, I like to look at this as kind of a backup plan in some ways. If you have a funnel that's promoting a specific company and they're not interested in that company, you've lost them completely. But if you've got a funnel that is promoting generic marketing tools that everyone potentially needs, at least they've come in and they've grabbed the system, but they're still connected with you, so that they can come in and every now and then they might get a message from you. Every now and then they might see what it is you're doing, and every time they log into their back office and just browse around, they're going to see your join link to your whatever company you're in. And the good thing is that at any time, any point in time down the road, if you switch out your current company and you've decided to move into another company, you can change it. You don't have to stick with that current company. You can put in you completely switch it out and put in another company if things don't work out with that current company, sort of thing. And the same with Dascoin and Hashflare as well. If your team are currently not interested in either of those two companies, it doesn't matter. But maybe down the road they might want to just get check it out. So if this was all about your primary business and you lost that lead in the first place, they would have never have potentially joined you down the road, sort of thing. So that's always been my kind of plan, really. Wanting to sort of lead with some key value, some free value that everyone potentially needs. So you can go off to 99.9% of the people out there. And then in the back office, gradually they might gradually get interested in what you have, and that's how I have found over the last 3 years how things have built up. People often say, when they join this industry for the first time, or they I don't like using labels. People call themselves newbies or whatever, but I don't like saying that. But people often say it's all right for you. People will jump onto your link because you say that this is a good company, and I say it's not like that. But with a system like this, really what it all boils down to is people have gotten to know me over the years because they've seen my videos, my YouTube videos, they've seen what I do online. And that's the same with a lot of people out there. Some of these people on Facebook who've been in this industry for a while, people have seen what they do. And yes, that's just the way it is. People will more likely join someone who's been around for a while, who has sort of gradually earned that certain amount of credibility. But I think, for that very reason, if you just stick with a free system like this, all it boils down to is the fact that they've just known you for a while. They've known you for a while. So that's why I'm saying that funnels just don't necessarily work if you're just promoting your primary business on the front end. You've lost them. It all boils down to the fact that they just simply gradually get to know you. And that's what I'm saying. People get to know me simply because they've seen some of my videos on YouTube, or they've seen what I've done on Facebook, or some of the things I've done in some of the groups that I manage, and so on. And that's what you should be doing, really. That's why we're helping you with these tools, is because you can get to that point quite easily. And you've got the tools that you're now able to brand. So anyway, that's really generally the purpose of Network Solutions Pro, is just to give anyone, even the playing field, give everyone a chance, so that they look good, they're presented well, and that's why I like to make some nice capture pages, funnels, and so on. But I mean, it's always in development. We're always moving forward. We're always looking for the next new way of helping with a nice new funnel or a nice new system or a nice new way of attracting new members to our system, so that you guys can build your mailing list or your following. So that's what we're trying to do. And anyway, towards the end of this webinar, we're also going to be talking about something kind of new that I've come across recently. It's Facebook training, as I mentioned in the Facebook group. And this is free training that I was very surprised about. And it's actually going over some strategies and methods that I've sort of almost, I would say, subconsciously used over the years. And I know a lot of people use these methods anyway, simply by using Facebook groups. And I don't know, if any of you have actually opened up your own Facebook group or thought about starting up your own Facebook group. But the gentleman that I'm going to introduce you to, well, actually, he's not going to come onto the webinar, but I'm going to introduce you to his course. It's a free course. And this gentleman has been a high performer in multiple companies. He's performing very well in his current business. He's the top income earner in that company, and he doesn't use funnels. He doesn't use capture pages. He doesn't use any of that. He doesn't even build a mailing list. And I've seen this guy on Facebook a number of times and never really sort of paid too much attention to him. But I know he's obviously, I was without a shadow of a doubt, I'm sure he was doing something good, because he had a lot of following. You know how you got a lot of friends on Facebook, and some people are sort of mutual. They have mutual friends with a lot of people. And I've seen this guy being mentioned about a lot. And whenever he posts, he gets a lot of comments, a lot of people liking his stuff. So I knew that he was probably quite successful. But the guy that I know who is very much in connection with him is a gentleman called Scott Clayson, who I worked with. Some of you may know who I'm talking about, Scott Clayson. I worked with him, and I actually met him in the United States 2 years ago, back in 2016. We met, and Scott's been working with this gentleman for many years now, and he always talks highly of this person. But he doesn't come across as being very successful. That's why I never really paid much attention to him. I mean, it's funny how it all works out like that. And now that he mentions a lot about this person, and now that I've sort of paid more attention to him, it's interesting how, I think he's worth listening to, because he's very down to earth. He's very, very much a genuine sort of person. And I like those kind of people. They don't keep anything a secret, how you wonder if it's good, if it's legit, or, if it's a scam or whatever. You just sort of wonder. But I don't really doubt with this gentleman. I mean, so he's actually got something in his back office that will require a payment. But when you watch his videos, you don't need to take advantage of that. All he really has in his back office, in his platform, is just some really, really fantastic Facebook training. And you guys know, I know that there's no spending money when it comes to Facebook. Really, you don't need to spend money to market on Facebook. And I know a lot of people particularly recently, have probably noticed when you post stuff on Facebook recently on your timeline, you've probably noticed that you almost feel like all of a sudden you're not being listened to anymore. I mean, a couple of years ago or a year ago, when I post something on Facebook, I had a lot of people liking it and a lot of people interacting with it. But now you don't get much interaction anymore, and that's what's really happening with Facebook, especially when you're posting on your timeline. But groups, on the other hand, that's where everything is, and that's really what I love about Facebook. To be honest, you probably won't see me post a huge amount on my actual timeline. I'll post stuff about my kids. Sometimes I'll post something that that really needs to be said about my business stuff. But I don't post a huge amount about my business stuff on my timeline. But within the groups that I'm managing, or within the groups that I like. I get a lot more engagement. And comparing that with, email marketing, for example, building a list. Nowadays, people don't really pay much attention to the emails that go out, and a lot of people don't even notice them. I mean, they might go into spam box or whatever, but a lot of email providers get quite strict nowadays, unfortunately, which is a shame. So, but with the good thing about Facebook groups is you actually get 2 alerts. If you've got the app, or even if you don't have the app, you'll still get alerted. If someone posts in the group that you're managing, or if you're not even admin of that group, and people start interacting in that group, you get that alert. You can't miss it. If your members are engaged in that group, and if some of your members have actually bookmarked that group and have been interacting in that group, you're not going to miss an engagement. You're not going to miss a notice. So, groups are better. Groups are far better than posting on your timeline, because most people will see it. And also, groups on the whole are far better than pages as well, because if you've ever managed a page, and if somebody likes that page, they're not really connected with you. They've just liked it. But on the other hand, if you've created a group and someone's actually connected with you in that group, they've joined you. And to me, I think that's a lot better than the way email marketing goes. If somebody joins your mailing list, if somebody jumps in on your funnel, that doesn't mean anything nowadays. I mean, you can get some good engagement if you've got a large list and you've built up a large list. You can get some good engagement. It really depends on you. But I think the skill factor is really quite different. I mean, if you're writing good email content, if you're writing, you're thinking about the value that you're able to provide, the natural thing to think, when I'm posting in a Facebook group, I can get away with posting a few lines of text and I can get some good engagement. But if I put in a few lines of text in an email and send it out to my mailing list, I'm not going to get some good engagement. Most times when we send out an email to our mailing list, we've got to think like I've got to write reams and reams of stuff, or I've got to really think about what I'm going to write. So for me, I think Facebook groups are far better than mailing lists. And I'd like to do some more funnels in Network Solutions Pro, really sort of geared towards getting people to jump into the Facebook group right on the second page, for example. So yes, then you can get them onto your mailing list, but then at least you've got a backup plan and making sure that they get into your group. So I'd like to do some funnels where people could actually brand their Network Solutions Pro profile with their chosen Facebook group, just one Facebook group that they've created themselves, put it into the Network Solutions Pro profile, and then have it a part of the some of the funnels. I think that would be a great idea. I'd like to do that. So that's one of the reasons why I think that this training is going to be so good to have in Network Solutions Pro. So that's what I'm going to let everyone in on towards the end of this webinar. But anyway, yeah, obviously this webinar was basically geared towards helping generally the newbies, the people who have, again, I don't like using newbies or titling people, but the people who have recently joined, people who don't really know what's going on, people who are brand new to marketing and so on, and who are using Network Solutions Pro for the first time, basically. So I'm just going to share my screen and just sort of take people around Network Solutions Pro a little bit and just cover some key aspects of Network Solutions Pro and give some sort of tips and stuff. So I'm going to share my screen right now. Bear with me. Okay, so Sylvester, if you could just give me a thumbs up if you can see my screen. Okay, cool. I've probably been logged out, so just going to refresh. So I'm going to log into a free account, free members account. So this is what the free members account looks like. And obviously, it starts off with a welcome video. You know, it gets people straight in onto their sponsor's primary business. You know, people never miss the Facebook group. That's great. And there's a little download button here just to help people get started and fully set up with Network Solutions Pro. And that pop-up window will always pop up every time you close your browser. It won't pop up every time you sort of log in and out, but if you've closed your browser completely, it'll pop up. And then obviously the most obvious thing to do next would be simply just to go through step 1, 2, 3, 4. But step 1 is vitally important, to go through, watch the video, and right here obviously is your sponsor's primary business. So this is exciting if you're here to really promote your business, whatever it is. That's why we keep Network Solutions Pro reasonably generic. Yes, we've got some opportunities for people to make some extra money because we've put in Dascoin in here, we put in Hashflare in here as well, but we haven't made that, you know, right sort of in your face. So it gives people the, it gives people the opportunity to want to stay with Network Solutions Pro, even if they're not interested in, everything we've got in here, sort of thing. Step 2, we call it the prospecting system. What this means is it basically shows free members. Once you've branded this thing and you've gone through step 1 and you've connected your primary business, you're basically ready to go. You know, everything's basically set up. But what you really need to know is how to set up, how to start prospecting people, how to use some of the tools, and what you're given access to as a free member. But I'm going to go through that in a bit more detail. Then step 3 is, optionally unlock more power, where you can go here, click the red button and pay $10 a month and get some extra power, which basically includes, drag and drop page builder, funnel creator, and so on. But, for those people who want to know a little bit extra, they can go to the main homepage. And we've now updated the main homepage with, let me just show you. A comparison chart, so people can see what free members have access to versus what paid members get access to if they choose to upgrade, basically. But where am I? Oh, sorry. Okay. So that's what basically step 3 goes into, and you can also click this just to see a bit more about various details. And then step 4, it talks about how Network Solutions Pro can earn an income, and it talks about the Dascoin opportunity and Hashflare, and then obviously you can set up your Dascoin business right there as well. And that's really the setting up process. So after you've gone through the 4 steps, you're basically set up. The next thing to do would be, to grab your links to promote. And there's a video on this page where you can learn where the links to promote is, but it's basically, just clicking this button and you can go there, and all your pages are in there. So paid members and free members have obviously different amounts of pages that they can use, pre-built pages. So yeah, it's view websites. So that's what we offer you there for as free members to give out. We're going to be adding more actually, and that's one of the reasons why obviously towards the end of this webinar I'm going to be talking about the Facebook training, and I wanted a sort of more of an attraction and an attractive funnel that gives people something to get excited about. So when we're talking about free training or something that of great value on the website that they come to, and they've never heard of Network Solutions Pro, whatever, or they've never heard of whatever it is you're talking about, if you have that value that you can give away and to allow people to get access to, like the Facebook training that we're going to be adding, or other training that we've got in here already, and also the tools that we have in here, then you're going to get potentially you're going to get a lot of people coming in and grabbing an account with Network Solutions Pro, and that's what we want, because it all helps when they come through, they then get a chance to look at what businesses you're promoting, because they're always going to be connected to you. That's really the point. So I'm going to be adding more pages in here to talk about the up and coming training that I'm going to be talking about, the Facebook training. Okay. So that's really in a nutshell, that's really what Network Solutions Pro is. It's just really an attractive set of branded web pages that all you need to focus on is simply getting eyeballs onto these attractive looking pages. They're not only attractive in, I dare I say it myself, but they look quite good from the point of view of the design. But what I really want to emphasize, we want to keep things simple. We want to be able to make something where they come in, they see, okay, I want to grab this training, or I want to grab these tools. They get on the next page, and then they go through and they can grab an account. It's as simple as that. Let's just keep this as simple as possible, really. That's what I'm saying. So I'm going to go through a few technical. I didn't want to get too technical, but I think even for complete people who are completely new to all this, I get a lot of people asking, how do I track my links? And also, where do I find my leads, and how do I manage my leads? So there are really two things, that I want to talk about. First of all, your leads, basically, right here. So this is a free members account. It's a demo account, so I don't have any leads in here. Perhaps I should go back to my other account just to show you what happens. But, the other account has real people in there, so I don't want to show that. But basically, the leads will be listed all in here. And it's a shame. Perhaps I'll just go through quickly. View leads. Hold on a minute, that's not one. Going to call this person Tom. I'm just going to put in a random email, go through. Okay. Now, obviously, at this stage, the person that's just gone through your capture page is a lead. They haven't joined as a member yet. So the membership option is right here on step 2. The step 1 is where they join your primary business. Okay, this is what this button is for. That's branded to you. So as you can see, it's a very generic page. It doesn't really mention anything else other than just your business and a free gift. Basically, that's really what we want to keep it as. So if I go back to my view leads area right here, and I just refresh the page, hopefully we're going to see me. There it is. Okay, Tom came through. I got a score of 1. Okay, the reason for that is because I don't know if people that really knew about this. I didn't really mention it in any training particularly, and I don't know how obvious it is. But if someone comes through your capture page, they're going to get a score. If gradually as people interact with your funnel or click on a link in an email or view an email or whatever, they're going to get a score. They're going to increase in points. And why this is good is because it shows you how active that lead is. It tells you that this is definitely a person that you need to reach out and communicate with. So you can get some more information right here. View. Okay. You can see if who this person is and so on. And you can even write notes if you want. But anyway, yeah, there's the score option there. But yeah, there are a few there are a few features there that you can actually. What I was going to talk about is this as well. So the gray, obviously, as it says, the gray star. Sometimes they get a star is that they read an email, and the white star means that they actually clicked a link in that email. So you've got a lot of decent tools here just to show you. That's why we call it the free prospecting system, because it really is a prospecting system. It gives you the tools as a free member. It gives you the tools that will allow you to see how active your members are. Now, other systems, I'm not going to mention any names, but other systems don't really have this in so much detail, really. What you've got here is, you've got you'll have to understand that people will sign up to anything without realizing it. And I've had people come to me and say, I got a lot of opt-ins from a particular campaign, or paid advertising or whatever, or solo ad that they paid for, and they got a lot of opt-ins, but not one of them seems active at all. That's just the way it is. I mean, nobody knows how good a certain vendor is. When you're purchasing paid advertising from certain vendors, you never know how good those leads are going to be. But with this, you do gradually know. And if everyone who comes in is only getting at a score of 1, you know that you're not getting very good leads from that particular vendor. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how to use the tracking tools, because that's also very useful, because then you can start realizing where that particular lead came in from. Because if you start using your tracking links and you start tracking and you see where they all come from, then you can say, okay, well, it looks like that company or that solo ad vendor is not particularly good. This one seems to be better, and on the whole, I'm getting a better score from these leads or whatever. Okay, so that's just how that works, really. Now let's just talk about the tracking feature, because it all kind of relates. Down here where it says page statistics. Now, so you've got some general information about how many hits you get and so on. But if you just drop down the box here and you go to tracking, most people, when they create an account or they've been using an account, or if they haven't been tracking their links, they're going to see probably a label such as no tracking, because you haven't tracked it. Okay, and you'll see how many hits you get. Now remember, this particular account is an account that I don't use. Okay, it's just a demo account, so that's why there's not much activity on here. But I'm just going to do a demonstration for you. I'm not sure if you can see the URL at the top here. I'm just going to bring it down. So right at the top here, you've got this capture page. I know the page is on Network Solutions Pro. The URLs are very long, and I apologize for that. It's just the way it is, I'm afraid. Normally what would happen is your link would look something like this, okay, and it will have equals, and then it'll have your Network Solutions Pro username right here. Actually, that's not a good idea, because I've got the system admin there. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the current account. Hold on a minute. I've gone to the wrong place. New websites. Okay, so I'm going to go to this website. And as you can see at the end here, it has the username of the person, your username. Okay, and after that, you need to put the ampersand sign, and then followed by campaign equals, and then here you just simply put a label, any kind of label. Okay, this is totally your for your purpose. So, for example, if you're going to post on Facebook, you might want to put Facebook, for example, group 1. I don't know. It's totally up to you. It's just 100% your label. You're the only one who it means anything to. So when you copy that entire URL, make sure that you get the whole thing down and copy it, and then you just post that wherever that makes sense. Like on in a Facebook group, and this label will show up in your tracking. Okay. Now, if you want to shorten the URL, you can use a shortening service. You can go onto Google and search for URL shortening services. That's up to you. But I'm going to just refresh this page as if I'm a lead, a hit. So now that page has had one hit with that tag on there at the end there. So I'm going to go back to the tracking tool and just click refresh. And so now what we get is we get the Facebook group 1 there. So again, this is just your label. It just shows you, oh, great, I just posted that on in the Facebook group and I got 1 hit already. So a unique hit would obviously be someone, that one individual, okay? But sometimes you might get a hit from the same person. So then the total would go up to maybe 2 or 3 if that person was, if that person visited your page twice. And then unfortunately that hit didn't opt in. So that's why that's 0. And then, gradually what you'll be able to do though is if you really dip into your leads and you learn about, who's coming through, then you can go back to your view leads page. Unfortunately, I didn't sign up, so it won't show up here. But when you go to view here, you'll be able to see if there's any tracking. It would actually say, but obviously in this case it doesn't because I haven't actually opted in yet. So perhaps if I just actually go ahead and opt in now. Okay. I'm just going to put random name or whatever. Yeah, I think hold on a minute. Okay, well, yeah, I think I might have just taken that out at the end there. I'm going to do some more testing to make sure that actually works. But anyway, yeah, what's supposed to happen basically is supposed to show up here as a label. If so, Lars, if you want to say go up. Ah, yeah, thank you. Oh, there you go. Oh, brilliant. Slavas is a lot more on the ball than I am. Thank you. I was looking at the wrong lead. Yeah, the lead came in at the top there, and I was looking at the one at the bottom. So thank you. So yeah, okay, it's working. So there's the tracking. So you can see how well everything is performing right from as they go through and become actual members and join your list. So that's good. So those were really the 2 technical things that I wanted to touch on. Obviously, talk about view leads and also the page statistics and tracking tool as well. So now what I want to talk about is just, I'm just going to go launch straight in and just say, guys, we're going to put in the Facebook training because it's free Facebook training. It's quality. I've just been through it myself. It makes a lot of sense. And without realizing, I've used this Facebook training in my marketing over the last 3 years without sort of realizing that it was actually, a teachable strategy. And to be honest, I didn't really know how to teach it, but this guy really lays it out really, really well. And I know when especially people who are just starting out, when you think about, starting up a Facebook group, you automatically think, oh, I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I have enough experience yet. I'm not a leader yet or whatever. But actually, guys, think of it as just simply setting up a mailing list. If you've ever set up a mailing list, or if you've ever thought about setting up a mailing list, just say that actually setting up a Facebook group is just as important. Okay, in fact, I would almost say that setting up a Facebook group is as vital, or possibly even more nowadays. Here we are at 2018. I would recommend setting up a Facebook group as well as a mailing list, but obviously now in Network Solutions Pro, we have a built-in mailing list system. So, you don't necessarily need Aweber, or you don't need GetResponse, but as a tool, as something that you need as a marketer, I honestly think that a Facebook group is a great thing to do. And I've seen brand new people who I'm connected with. I've seen some people actually go ahead and just plunge in and set up their own Facebook group and done very well out of it. They get members in there. There's certain etiquette you've got to think about. You don't want to do things like just automatically put all the people in without asking them, but just announce that you've got a Facebook group and you want to provide value. You think about a plan, a goal, put in your description of the group, put in a Facebook header or whatever. But just have an idea, have a plan, as if you were going to, if you've ever set up a mailing list for the same reason, your same goal, your same mindset, you just go ahead and do the same for a Facebook group. You know, if you are planning on setting up a mailing list because you want to provide value about the free tools we have, or if you want to provide value about some of the, you know, if you've got an ebook, or if you've got a recommended strategy, or if you just simply want to curate quality training from YouTube, then that's great. You know, use that. Don't necessarily, you don't have to be an expert on Facebook groups or an expert on you know, marketing or anything like that to you know, to be able to give advice or anything like that. If you have a mentor, if you have someone you respect, and you just simply want to curate what they're doing, like for example, I mean, you know, I know I'm talking to Slavas here because Slavas is also in Dascoin. You know, one of my great mentors is Arthur, and you know, anyone who was in the webinar last week, you know who Arthur is. He's a great guy. He knows about cryptocurrency. He knows about a lot of things. And when I see a video that he's posted on YouTube, in many cases, I will probably share his video. But sometimes what I'll do is I'll just curate what he's done. I'll just make a message myself about that content. I'm using Arthur as an example here. I've got mentors about marketing tips, people who are doing stuff on other platforms, or another example is one of my great mentors on YouTube, because I love posting YouTube videos. A guy, his name is Michael Kuhler. He's a German guy. I think he's German. But he's a really young guy. I think he's about 23 or 24 or something like that, but he's a millionaire. He's a YouTuber. And he's not really in our space, because I mean, he makes money purely by just doing videos on YouTube. And he's made a huge amount of money simply by promoting his YouTube millionaire course that he's done. And he started off his career on Fiverr. So he's provided a lot of value on Fiverr. Anyway, whenever I see a video posted by him, I often curate his content. I often, you know, he's got some great tips, and I learn from his stuff. You know, curating what other people are doing is not a bad thing. It just means you've learned what he's done, you've digested his information, and you've reworded it in your own way, because he, as I say, he's not really in our space. He's not into cryptocurrency, or he's not into what we're doing here. So I sometimes reword it so it makes more sense, you know, to the people in our space, sort of thing, you know, and that's fair enough. And actually, to be honest, you know, for the paid members of Network Solutions Pro, I'm not logged into a paid members account, but we've got YouTube training, and a lot of that training was actually the stuff that I've actually learned, and it all drummed in, you know, and I use it on a daily basis. A lot of that stuff that I've created on that paid account was actually from the tips that I've learned from his course. And I've also taken a one-on-one training from Michael Kuhler himself, and he gave me a huge discount. I think I paid about $600 for his one-on-one training. It was an hour long, and it was gold. It was absolutely fantastic, and I'm not regretting ever taking his training. But anyway, back to the Facebook groups stuff. So let me just bring that down. So this is the gentleman here, and I'm connected with Scott Clayson, this gentleman here, and he shared this information out with me. So anyway, this is Facebook Group Mastery. It's a full-blown training. It's 100% for free, and the link is right here. I'm just gonna, because, you know, obviously Sylvas is in the webinar now, and nobody else is. So I think you can see that, but I'll put it in the chat. Where's the chat? I'm sharing my screen right now, so the buttons are in a different place. Here it is. So I've put the link in the chat for you, Sylvas. You'll be able to just click that. Anyway, in your own time, no hurry. But I've already added it into Network Solutions Pro. So obviously, if there were going to be a lot more people in the webinar, I would have just shared out this page so that everyone will be able to get access fairly, you know. So So I basically put this page and I put it together quickly, but I'm going to update this page and make it look a lot better. But this is basically the page that will gradually get redesigned and get used. But people are going to be able to rebrand that page. I'm just going to go to the chat again. That was actually the page there. I'll just put it in the chat. But anyway, everyone's going to get access to that anyway. So, and also in Network Solutions Pro in your back office, in the profile settings, we've now got a little field here down at the bottom where it says Facebook Group Mastery. So that was the link there. And then when they click that, they go to this page. It's all branded. That page, will be branded to you. And here he is. Watch the video. It's only 1 minute 20. And you'll just simply go through and you'll simply create a free account. And then after you create a free account, you'll be on this page and you've got the training here. And then all you need to do is whatever username you added and whatever you log in with, you'll just copy that end part, which you created there, and you just go back to your profile settings, and then you just paste that into there, and then you just click save, done. But more importantly, as far as I'm concerned, because I've already been through this training, more importantly, more than anything, definitely go through this training. It's brilliant. It really is fantastic. And everything that you're going to need to, going to be able to implement is just, free stuff. I know at the beginning, like some people don't want to upload YouTube videos. Some people don't want to pick up the phone and make a phone call. We all have our, whatever we like doing or we don't like doing. And the same with this. I mean, I'm not going to lie. I'm not going to say it's just easy stuff. He puts in a lot of work, and that's why he's had great results. But, setting up a page, you've still got to think about, you've got to get out of your comfort zone. You put in the description, put in a plan, put in an idea, and post on a daily basis. But I also say that with YouTube. If you want to get good at YouTube, you've got to post on a daily basis. If you want to get good at solo ads, posting solo ads, you've got to do that regularly. I wouldn't say posting solo ads on a daily basis, but certainly perhaps on a weekly basis. Leonard, admit. Okay, Leonard just arrived. Leonard, you're a bit late, mate. Hi, Leonard. How's it going, mate? You'll get the recording. I'm going to close in a minute. I said it was at 10 o'clock UK time. What time is it now in the UK? But it's 11 o'clock, isn't it? Yeah. Okay. Not to worry. Oh, he's gone now. Anyway, so yeah, there's a certain amount of getting out of your comfort zone, getting it done and stuff. But with everything that I've done online, I started off doing Backpage. If anyone knows Backpage, I used to post classified ads on Backpage, and I used to do Craigslist as well. But then both of those websites got really strict, and I couldn't keep that going because I was living in Japan, and then Backpage changed everything, and then they said you can only post in your own local area, so that just meant nothing to me. So I stopped using Backpage, and then Craigslist just booted me every time I tried to post in different areas. So they got really, really strict. So I stopped using classified ad websites. Then I moved on to YouTube, and YouTube started off being quite difficult because when you're new to YouTube, you've got to build up your authority on YouTube, and then once you've been posting regularly on YouTube, you gradually move, you move up the ranks, and YouTube will, it's not necessarily just about, it's not just about YouTube itself, but you get more experience and you develop more skill, and it's all about authority as well. Once you get more people interacting with your videos, then YouTube is going to rank you higher, and that's just the way how a lot of websites work. But with Facebook groups, on the other hand, it's the same in some ways, where you've got to build up your content so you can get more trust, and the more interaction you get in your groups, the more Facebook is going to likely help you to advertise that. Because I'm really just talking about open groups. I'm not talking about closed groups. I mostly, up until now, I've mostly focused on closed groups, secret groups, or private groups, and so on. So Facebook is not going to advertise you, but so the only people who find out about my groups basically are people who come into my system and then click the link and go into that group. But if you make open groups, Facebook is going to help you to advertise that group. And then the more interaction you have, the more posts you make in that group, the more engagement that you have in that group, and the more people you get involved, the more your group is just going to explode. It's not going to take very long to get over 1,000 people in your group. It really isn't going to take very long at all, especially if you make an open group. But you want to keep monitoring it, and gradually you want to maybe get some people, other people to help you out. But rather than having me talk, this is basically what this gentleman is talking about in his training anyway. You'll go through that, and you'll learn pretty much just what I said, but a lot more. There's a lot more value that you'll get, and this guy has done it all. He's got a lot of great tips. So I hope you like it, and we're going to add it into Network Solutions Pro. We've already done that, and we're gonna get really excited about getting active and helping. We're going to help people. I mean, if you've got a group that you want to recommend, and if you've started up a Facebook group, let us know, and we'll help you out. We'll join it. We'll interact with it. So definitely, let's do this.